Ready and organized in the room today. So first of all, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone for joining us today for your pre and post touring business events workshop. I also want to pay my respects to the traditional landowners on the land on which we meet the Larrakia people. I pay my respects to those past, present and emerging. So yes, thank you once again for being here today. This is the third in a series of business events workshops that we've run. In the room today, well, actually, I'll just go through a quick agenda of what we're going to do. So we'll just do a quick introduction to who's joining us on the workshop today, a quick recap on those first two workshops. Then I'm going to go through the importance of pre and post touring. Then I'm going to hand over to my sidekick here, Gemma, who's going to go through how to work with TT and the pre and post touring, as well as discounts and value adds, and go through where the pre and post touring is going to be hosted. So my name is Gabrielle Deacon. You can call me Gabs for short. I run my own consulting business called Gift of the Gab Consulting. I've been in tourism for 17 plus years. Started from humble beginnings as a tour guide. And yeah, I've worked as a buyer, a seller. I've worked as a mentor in industry development. I've also worked alongside the team at NTBE, and I do some consulting for tourism top end. So I'm also really excited to have Jamie Parbs here with me sitting next to me from NTBE, otherwise known as NT Business Events. Jamie is the Client Services Coordinator. Don't know if you can see online, but she is about to leave us very soon and head on mat leave. But I'll just get Jamie to say a few things about NTBE and what she does with NT Business Events.
Yeah, thank you. I may have met a couple of you before in the previous one, but yeah, I'm Jamie, Client Services Coordinator at NT Business Events. My role is pretty large within the team. So we host all our clients on site visits when they're in town. So a few of you might meet us when we're out doing activities with you, showcasing the pre and post touring options for people and their conferences, as well as we go around accommodation, we go around meeting spaces, we meet with PCOs, all sorts of different things. I as well work with Gemma as well with our confirmed clients, introducing for landing pages, pre and post touring and things like that. I am finishing up in a couple of weeks and we have a lady joining the team who will still be contactable as well.
Amazing. Thanks, Jamie. And she did an introduction as well for Gemma, who's joining us today, who will be doing the second part of this workshop. So Gemma, did you want to just introduce yourself?
Yep, sure can. I'm the marketing coordinator at Tourism Top End, so mainly working in the marketing space. However, I did start with TTE, what's looking like 3 and a bit years ago now, as a consultant at the Visitor Information Centre. So I've got that history on the booking processes and consumer experience, as well as then moving into assistant manager for the visitor centre with a focus more on product development. So I was focused on website development, landing pages, book easy, service requests, the ins and outs of the API connections between all of your wonderful product and our reservation system. So I know the background on how to get the system to work the way we want it to work, and then working with NTBE team to get the landing pages sorted. So
amazing.
Big bubble, but
yeah. So there's a wealth of knowledge here today that's delivering this workshop for you all. Sorry, was that a question there? I think so, guys. Gemma is going to be monitoring our chat box. So if you do have any questions, please throw them through to the chat and we'll try and answer them as much as we can. We also have people in the room today. So if we do throw any questions out, or if you ladies want to chuck any questions at us, please feel free to. We do like these sessions to be quite interactive, or as interactive as much as possible. And for those who are quite well versed in the business event sphere, we do hope that you get some light bulb moments throughout these presentations. You'll definitely pick up some stuff today that you may not have been aware about in the past. So A quick recap on business events, and I'm going to focus on the first workshop we ran just really quickly, which is the introduction to business events. So I'm not going to read all of that out because I don't think I can speak that fast and you probably won't retain it. But to put it simply, a business event is a gathering for an intention, usually to deal with something in the workforce. So if you do want the full definition, I can send that to you from the Australian Business Events Association, just to understand all the varieties of what creates a business event. The purpose of business events in the Northern Territory and why it's so important to us is because the NTBE team are working towards their target and their goal of hitting $68 million in a financial year by 2030 just from business events. So it's really there to help build revenue for the economy. Business events is a beast when it comes to who can be involved. So under these three umbrellas, there are a lot of different businesses that are associated, but we've just put it into these three categories to make it simple for today, which the first one is industry suppliers. So that's everybody joining us today. The decision makers, otherwise known as the clients, and that could be, for example, what Jamie referred to as the professional conference organisers, otherwise known as PCOs. And then we also have the government agencies. So NTB is our representative of a government agency, and I'll pinpoint in 2 seconds why they're so important to the business event space. One great thing about business events, it's not affected by seasonality. So it doesn't matter if it's our tropical summer or school holidays, business events can happen at any stage of the year. And the how. So I don't know if you noticed my theme, the who, the what, the when, the where, the how. So how is the Northern Territory different to other destinations? We do this by 3 major categories, and we showcase our enriching Aboriginal culture, our iconic landscapes, nature-based experiences. But the way we win business and the way the team from NTBE helps bring the business event to the Territory is they have something called a bid fund. Now, this is just an example of what a bid fund could be. So, for example, there could be a client who is looking for a destination to host their conference, and the Northern Territory could be in competition with, say, or Darwin could be in competition with, say, Perth. Now, this team will work with that client in order to ensure that we win the business, and that's by remaining competitive by potentially offering, and this is just an example, by offering, say, $100 per person to use towards a conferencing facility or something relating to the business event sphere. And that competitive edge could help us win the business. So these guys worked tirelessly. Last year, they had 77 business events that came to the Northern Territory, and a lot of that came down to this bid funding. Just want to make people, though, really aware of the fact that a bid fund is only offered when it's in the decision-making process. If a business event is already coming to the Territory, then we've already won that business. We don't need to go out with that competitive edge. So if an event is approaching you and haven't approached the team, but they're still deciding, contact the team because we can help you win that business. The second workshop we ran was about product development for business events. So there was really 2 categories for this workshop. The first one that we wanted to hone into was, do you have a product ready for business events? So if anybody was on that workshop, you might have gone through with myself some research and brainstorming. I sent out checklists after the fact to see where you would sit in the realm of, do you qualify, do you not qualify as a business event? You might have had a few gaps and you could have worked on those gaps, ran those logistics to see, okay, you know what, we don't qualify here, but maybe we can build on that and then become a business event. So once you identify if you do qualify, then that's where we would encourage you to put forward your proposal templates, run trial runs, and especially connect with the team at NTBE so they can be informed about your product so they can do further promotions within the business event sphere. For a few of you who might have been on that workshop, you could have identified that you weren't ready for business events. And that's why you're here today, because when it comes to pre and post touring for business events, you don't need to fall into that full realm. But I do just want to go back to that point right at the end there about promoting your business events product, because the next installment and the next workshop that we're going to run is all about marketing your product for business events. So please stay tuned, because that one is going to be great. I think for the list of businesses on this call today, it's going to be really beneficial for your business. The other category that we covered within the product development for business events is what are the clients looking for? So even though this workshop could look into so many different categories underneath these pillars, the top 3 things that we identified was clients looking for a quality program in a desirable destination with the ability to extend. And that's the key thing I want to work on with everybody today. And it's that ability to extend. That's why we're all here for the pre and post touring. So what's the significance of pre and post touring for business events? From a Northern Territory perspective, it means that the delegates stay longer, they spend more, and we can get them out into regions that normally they wouldn't be able to because of the conference timing and access. So that's a good understanding of the Northern Territory's perspective. Why does it pre and post touring influence a decision maker? Well, I want you guys to have a think about yourselves in this position. Why does it influence a decision maker? Think about when you've had to go to a conference. Have you ever woken up that morning going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I need to go to a conference today. It's going to be a long day. Am I going to retain all the information, etc.? But have you ever been to a conference, as an example, where there's entertainment value, where there's great food, where there's an amazing guest speaker? Those are the kind of things that really get people excited to attend an event. And we've got that. And this is the purpose behind why a client would choose a destination. Because pre and post touring on top of that business event allows the delegates to explore that destination further. In the territory, they can see our landscapes, experience more of our culture, experience our amazing cuisine. Often clients will work with their delegates to see, okay, can their families attend pre or post? Are they traveling with a friend? Are they traveling with another travel companion? Or if friends and family aren't allowed, are they able to travel with other colleagues? So hopefully I'm really hitting the head of the nail here to explain that when pre and post touring is added to a business event, it helps increase delegate attendance to go to that event. So once again, thinking of yourself going to a conference where there's no entertainment to a conference where there's something super exciting that's involved, chances are you're more likely to attend that conference. And this is what helps the client book the destination. Not just that, but for the client, a memorable experience, which means pre and post touring, can help improve their return on investment. So they have higher satisfaction. Once again, the increased attendee and retention for future events. And positive word of mouth also helps on a higher return for potential clients. So now you get a good understanding about reasons why people would attend an event, especially related to that pre and post touring, where they get to go and explore a destination and have more fun. Ideally the delegates are just like this guy right here. And when they get their email for that next business event, they're going to think it's pretty awesome and increase that attendance rate. So it's a really great way to help raise awareness for the destination as well, and help us build on future business events coming to the territory. Often a lot of these clients will talk, they'll understand that if they've had really great events coming to the territory, that they can encourage other events to come up here too. So just to go into a little bit about the difference between the business event product and pre and post touring. So when it comes to pre and post touring, there aren't any minimum numbers. So a lot of the times you'll find with pre and post, a lot of the times you'll find with business events, they look at a minimum of 10 packs. So especially for those touring operators that have less than 10 seats, you can now be included within this realm. Often when it comes to business events, family-based activities aren't included. So now if the client says, yeah, we're happy to host an event that pre and post is targeted at families to join as well, then you can be included in this realm. Flexible itineraries, going out to do, especially more of the regional dispersal, which is a big thing that the team from NTB and TTE want when it comes to business events, is making sure that these delegates are able to travel to Katherine, up to East or West Arnhem Land, over to Kakadu, and even down south. So there's quite a few things where if you did the product development for business events and noted that, yes, okay, maybe I'm not ready, this is where you fall in. This is where you can work for business events. And this is where I'm going to hand over to Gemma so she can talk about the tangible stuff, about how you can get involved with pre and post touring. Before we do, any questions online?
Daryl just said he appreciates the recap.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Daryl. Awesome. So I'll hand over to Gemma.
Cool. So some of you may recall the Darwin Welcomes Delegates program that we used to run. So it was an opportunity for NT business events delegates to gain access to a bunch of deals and special offers around Darwin. Unfortunately, without a dedicated business events staff member, that hasn't continued forward. However, we are still working in this space and simplifying it for both ourselves and for delegates and conference organisers, and really personalising the experience on our website. So as you've heard from previous workshops and from before, NTB do work really hard in getting these conferences confirmed and the events confirmed to the Northern Territory. So once they are confirmed, Jamie or someone in the team will converse with myself or someone in our team to start up a landing page for the conference. These are created custom for the event. So as you can see on the screen, this one is for the National Swimming Championships that are happening next week, I believe. So we do something really custom that can be linked to from a conference website. So if you're on the Masters Swimming Australia website, getting ready for your conference, and you go, oh, I'm there for an extra 2 days, what can I do? Usually there's, excuse me, usually there's a link to ourselves or any sort of pre and post touring option so that customers can go and book extra accommodation for their extended trip or some experiences for pre and post conference. The general process, oh, you're gonna have to change that.
You're gonna hit it. Yeah.
The general process is we'll request a logo or banner image, a background image if the client has something specific in mind. If they don't, we just choose from a range of gorgeous Darwin backdrops from the Tourism NT Library of Images. We ask for some introductory text, something about the conference, whether it be they need to remember they've got events on Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure you're only booking your pre and post or during experiences on the Wednesday or before and after. We also send them potential categories of travel. So as you would have seen in the previous slide, the buttons for people to select, adventure, fishing, cruising, it could be the regions, accommodation, car hire. We give them a full list of categories to choose from. Usually the conference organizer knows what their clients are going to be interested in. So if it's a lot of families, they're not going to choose a specific option that, say, an older demographic would choose. So we really try and customize it to what the client wants. And then that's linked from their landing page to ours with, we just share that closed link. It's not accessible to the public unless you really know what you're searching for on our website. Generally just accessed and promoted by the conference organizer through the link that we share with them. From here, we also like to offer delegate deals. So if the conference organizer is asking for anything specific, we will do that for the conference organizer. We'll reach out and get that bookable on our website. For the most part, we just link to our deals page on our website to keep it simple. If they don't have anything specific in mind, we are looking to change this for the future, which I'll mention a bit later. But for delegate deals and value adds, there is a little bit of a difference. It's totally customizable to your business and whatever you're wanting to offer, basically. So we want to offer this through both ourselves and NT business events. Love to showcase what product is available on their business events website as well. Choosing whether to discount or value add your experience to entice guests for pre and post touring, for return visitation, as well as an extended staycation as well. So for your accommodation operators, it's important to consider discounting or value adding or return dealing your product so that people are more likely to come to you over someone else. So discounts can be a percentage or a dollar value off of your normal rates and experiences. Pretty self-explanatory for those, and usually really enticing. What I have found over the years, both working in product development, working in events at our travel expos and those kinds of things as well, people are really interested in value adds. So it doesn't necessarily have to cut your income or discount your experiences. You can add value to what you already have on offer. So for example, you could do a experience that's not generally offered. So this probably comes into play with cruise ships. The cruise ships are really looking for something that's not offered stock standard. VIP experiences or behind the scenes. So for example, Croc Cove could just do a little showcase of how they prep the food for the animals. Something really simple. The clients could come half hour earlier than what they would generally plan, and you can just do something really special for them, or value adds. So for example, we've worked closely with Darwin Harbour Cruises at travel expos before, and something that really gets traction for them is you book 2 or more people on a sunset dinner cruise and you get a bottle of bubbly for the table. So it's not cutting any sort of costs to the operator. Like, you're not discounting your experience, you're holding the value of your experience to what it generally is, and you're just value adding that for the client. And generally gets really, really good traction as well. And then return deals. So if you want customers to just come to you regardless while they're here for their conferences, you could offer them something like, here's my business card, or here's a coupon, come back to us and you could get a discount or value add the next time you're here. So return deals are also really important to clients as well. Have we got questions?
Yeah, we've just got a few questions. So that's right. Yes, we do have recordings of the previous workshops. Deb's just asked that. We will circulate the recordings around the group this afternoon. And then the second question we've had come through from Sabine is, do you display all operator instructions on your landing page in business events or selected once by? Yeah, so
it's custom to each conference. So as I mentioned before, the buttons that are available to click through, it's generally based on category or region, and then your accommodation, your car hire are additional buttons as well to access. So it's customizable. It's not that I'm going in and being really picky choosy and choosing all my favorites, which I don't have. I'm not allowed to have favorites. We're a membership organization, so all our members are recommended as equally as we can. So it's completely custom to each conference. Nothing is stock standard. We'll change it up each time.
Yeah. I think everything we do is really tailored in business events, and working with Tourism Top End, we might know that our clients are bringing their families for pre and post. We really want to target that. or we might know that there are younger people and they're looking for specific things. So we do really tailor everything that we offer in business events.
Clients generally want to make everything as easy for their delegate to book. So, you know, if you ever put yourself in that delegate's shoes, so does the client when they're choosing a destination. Often if there's too much on offer, that can also confuse a certain circumstance. So really, we all work with what the client is asking us for. So definitely for those that are in that adventure space, you know, your products would be put forward. But I believe Gemma's going to talk a little bit more to that and what that looks like about how your products are going to be put forward.
Yeah. And I don't want to cut you off, but I just have to leave shortly. Sorry, everyone. I just had a prior commit with a client in town. So if you do just see me walk off.
Yeah.
But Gabs has passed on my details.
Yeah, of course. So if anybody does want to get in contact with Jamie, before she does have to leave, I can pass around her details. She's a great contact, especially if you are looking at setting up site inspections, or even just want to talk about the supplier page for NT business events. Now, the supplier page for NTB, sorry, I'm just going off the cusp a little bit, only because Jamie has to run. That is specifically for business events ready product. But what we're discussing for the major part of today is how to be on the supplier page for pre and post touring. You don't have to be qualified for business events. So, but if you do want to get in contact with Jamie for business events product, we can connect you. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for coming. See ya.
Cool. So cool. I'll just move on to how to get on board, which will hopefully answer your question, Sabine. First step for these landing pages, I suppose, for operator specific steps, is make sure your book easy is up to date. The locations, the categories, and the types of tours that you set in Book Easy auto-populate our website. So if your business location is set to Darwin, you're going to pop up on a Darwin region page. If your location is set to Litchfield, you will pop up on Litchfield. For those operators who depart Darwin and are based in Darwin, but they do Litchfield tours, you can set your business location to Darwin and your tour locations to Litchfield, or your tour types to adventure, to tours, to small group, etc. So those will auto-populate our buttons. So if we've got a Litchfield button or we've got a adventure button, those types, those experiences and those categories that you set in Book Easy are really going to auto-populate our website and are super important. If you do need guidance on where to put the right category, how you want to get involved, please do reach out. Sometimes Book Easy can be a pain and quite confusing to navigate, as I'm sure some of you have experienced. We can help you. And Book Easy Op Support is there to help you as well. So if you can't get in contact with myself or the visitor centre just for a bit of guidance, Op Support at Book Easy is always there to assist you as well. Step 2 would be think about your pre and post touring option. So have a think about how you would want to entice consumers to your product and delegates to your experience. So start thinking about those. Make sure you're receiving our newsletters and keeping an eye out for any opportunities through those newsletters, both Tourism NT's newsletter and Tourism Top End's newsletter, because most opportunities are pushed out through those EDMs. For the 2024-25 conferences and events, I'm really wanting to put forward an option to keep all of our deals and special offers together so that I'm not reaching out and I suppose annoying everyone during busy season or getting emails lost in your inbox. There'll be a kind of schedule with what you're wanting to offer for conferences and events for the next probably 12 to 18 months. And we'll make sure we keep a delegates button together on the website, which we can attach to each of those event pages, just to make sure that your offer is available for any events and conferences that we're setting up on the website, and you're not getting possibly missed through not being part of those category buttons or not being on those I suppose stock standard experiences through BookEasy. And then making sure you submit your EOIs by the close date. So we will send out an EOI for these conference pre and post touring options, and just making sure you submit those details in time so that we can make sure they're ready on the website.
So Sabine, just to come back to your question there, Fair Harbour and Resi are booking platforms for tour operators only, not for accommodation providers. We understand BookEasy is not the greatest, but it does everything. So it's not in depth like Resi or Fair Harbour are. And this is a conversation we can take offline, and I'm happy to chat to you about, because I'm also a booking systems expert. Oh, sorry, who was it?
Daryl.
Oh, sorry, Daryl, my apologies. Daryl, I can take this offline with you. My apologies. I'm very short-sighted and I can't read the screen. But yeah, they're for tours and experiences only, and really goes in depth in that way, whereas BookEasy is encompassing of venues, accommodation and tours. Unfortunately, there's no platform that's a one-stop shop. That's an expert for every business. Whereas for most of you guys that connect in with BookEasy, you'll have your reservation platforms that are detailed in what you do. So we can chat about that further after this workshop. So all great questions. Always important to understand how things interconnect. Amazing.
And we'll share the BookEasy workshop that we did with, it just goes a little bit more into depth of how you can set your categories and locations and things in BookEasy so that you do auto populate properly on our website. I understand it's clunky. I've heard it from everyone, and we continuously try and make the website better linked to BookEasy and better suited to consumers. It's an old system, constant updates. So hopefully it'll continue to get better as the years go on.
Awesome. So just to wrap up pretty much what we've discussed today. So obviously we've really honed in on the whole fact that pre and post touring is integral to business events because it helps increase the attendance. For the territory, it is spend more, stay longer, regional dispersal. That's really the messaging from NTBE. And there's such a great relationship with Tourism Top End and the government that work together to ensure that there's a platform for these clients to make sure that their delegates can book their pre and post touring, which not every jurisdiction across Australia offers. And then, of course, just to sum up, in order to make sure that you can work and your products can be listed, make sure your BookEasy is up to date and you submit your EOI once it's sent out, because we want to make sure people are included. And that's maybe when the EOI is sent out, that if we don't receive your registrations, just because the team works tirelessly, so they'll have to move on to the next project. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind and keeping an eye out in the newsletters, any EDMs that are sent out. It's great because we've had quite a few questions coming through, but were there any more questions in the room, online? I know we had a question that came through from Pina when we sent out the registrations, and that was in regards to a welcome for delegates on arrival to Darwin Airport. Pina, with this one, we're not quite sure where this one would land, especially in regards to pre and post touring. What I would believe from business events where guests are or delegates are all arriving together, it will come down to that client to organise, for example, a welcome to country on arrival or something along those lines. There's no reason though why you wouldn't be able to talk to the team at NTB and work with the team to see what that would look like when business events do come to town. Because if you have suggestions, we're always willing to take feedback on board and see how we can elevate, because we always want to keep elevating the destination. Awesome.
Deb's just said, is it appropriate to promote the business name or concept with subtlety to event guests? Not quite sure.
So, Deb, just trying to,
I've asked, have you got an example?
yeah, if you could provide us with an example of what that would look like. And we always encourage self-promotion if that's what you're targeting. So if you happen to be a driver for an event, yeah, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to turn to those guests, especially in the sphere of, say, there's a client that doesn't offer pre or post touring, but you could, for example, suggest return touring to come back. And if that's something that you wanted to do just yourself and offer that to the guests, there's no reason why you wouldn't. If you have an event being run by a business with 30 people, say, is it okay to hand around cards? Yeah, 100%. Unless the client asks you not to. But in most circumstances, it would be deemed acceptable if you wanted to do that promotion and try and sell your business. Yeah, awesome. Hopefully that's answered to your question. Cool. Was there any more questions coming from online or in the room?
That with Book Easy, is that only a Northern Territory platform, or is that all?
No.
It's used across Australia.
Yeah.
Like majority of visitor information centres.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty stock standard that, yeah, most and that's why it's a challenge to change as well. And look, they do, Bookeasy really does a lot as a system. And yeah, as Gemma mentioned, constant upgrades going on. Just yeah, if you think about it, it's like it's a jack of all trades, master of none. That's probably the best way to present what Bookeasy is.
It does tickets, does car hire, accommodation, tours, and you can imagine trying to pull different, I suppose, consoles for those different needs in terms of a business. It's a complicated little beast and so many different ways to do things in there. But yeah, they're constantly looking at improving their system. So hopefully it's just the master of all things eventually.
Yeah, one day, master of all. We love that. Amazing. Well, it looks like that's it for the questions online. So we're going to send around some resources today after this workshop, including the link to the NT business events page, just so you can have a look at it. If you are business events ready, I strongly encourage you to have a look at the supplier page to make sure that you're listed and your details are up to date. If it's not, we'll pass on Jamie's details and make sure you get that updated before she goes on mat leave. For those who are looking at exploring the business event sphere a little bit more, I still have a few one-on-one appointments available. That's where we just sit down, we do a bit of a deep dive to see how you can elevate in the business event space. I will also share my email address when we share all these details afterwards as well. We're also going to share the Bookeasy how-to guide, which was a recording done a couple months back, just in case you do need to ensure that your profile is up to date. We will send you through the links to other, we call them TEP workshops, Tourism Enhancement Program workshops. So we'll send those around, as well as the introduction to business events and product development for business events for those that missed it. But that's it from us today. I think we did well for timing, hopefully. Yeah, 5 minutes early. Awesome. Cool. But thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, any questions? I was going to get away without copying. Any questions, please send them through. Thank you. Thanks. Sorry.